Hi guys, welcome back to the Discussion Lab. Welcome to today's episode that I've titled Be You, Not Always. And this is going to be a controversial take. Have you ever heard this statement that people make? Be yourself. Don't change for anyone. Stay true to yourself. Stay as you are. Love yourself for who you are. If you don't take me for who I am, then I don't want you. Those kind of statements. I know this is going to be a controversial one, but please just hear me out for a minute. I feel like these statements can be a bit cagey sometimes. And let me explain where it came from and what I'm trying to say. So I was with my sister some time back. I traveled. I went to meet my family for family reasons. And while I was there, I was talking to some of my sister's friends, and I overheard one of them saying, yeah, whoever I'm dating has to take me for who I am. And initially I thought, yeah, that's cool. Everyone should not change for someone else. But me being me and the way my brain works, after a couple of days, this thing just kept ringing in my head. Like, should you always be yourself? Like, always? Forever? That you won't change? I don't know. Let's break it down. It's not that I disagree with the statement entirely. I just feel like we have to be careful, and if we are not careful, this statement, if we fully buy into it, can cage us, can restrict us from growing. That's all I'm trying to say. And I just thought about it, and I wanted to break it down to a few points that I want to share with you. The first point I want to share with you, I called it the illusion of fixed true self, right? The illusion. I say it's an illusion because what really is your true self? Would you say that the way you were when you were 5 years old is the same as you were when you were 15 years old and the same when you were 25? Did you get the point I'm going? Add 10 years. Do you feel like you've been the same individual every 10 years? I don't know about you, but for me, I haven't 100% been the same individual in 10 years. What has happened is over the course of every decade that has been added to my life, I feel like I have grown. I've become a more matured person, a more responsible person, a more open person. And things that I know that I naturally don't tend to do, I had to do them to become a better person. And so again, the first point, the illusion of a true self. What really is your true self? Let me give you an example. I knew a friend who was hot-tempered since he was a baby, like from kindergarten. This person is just hot-tempered. Least thing is a temper tantrum, throwing things around, fighting. And that, in quote, is a person's true self, isn't it? That's from instinctive, from childhood, a person has been like that. And I saw this person grow up when we were driving as a young guys, like in our early 20s driving. If you dare cross him when he didn't give you the chance, he's going to throw a bit of a tantrum, roll the windows down, insult you, all those things. And for everyone who knew him, they are not surprised. He's been like that since he was a child. But would you say that he should stick to his true self? Over time, he's changed completely. Now when people cross him, and you can still see that he still gets angry, like you can see the frustration on his face, he exhales and lets it go. But he doesn't throw the tantrum and cause a mini road rage. That's what we used to call it out there. He won't roll the windows down and start insulting people. So would you say that the person has changed? Would you say that the person is not true to himself anymore? Let me give you another example. I know of someone very close to me who used to be a bit messy when we were growing up. By messy, what I mean is since we were kids, when he comes to the room from school, he just throws his shoes, takes his shoes off, throws it somewhere, socks goes to the left, shirts go to northwest, things are just flying all over. When he eats, he leaves the plate on the floor anywhere that he goes. Basically, he would just leave a trail of a mess of a trail wherever he goes. And you could literally follow through. Left shoe here, right socks here, and you will find where he is. Over time, I got time to spend some days with this person, and oh my God, the person has completely changed. This same person who was a messy person is probably way neater than me, like way more organized than me. I can't even compare myself. This person now has a planner in his Google calendar and Apple calendar that he uses. This person has a place he hangs his shirts that he's worn for one day that he wants to air out. He's even organized his wardrobe by the shade of the colors. And I was shocked. I was flabbergasted. Is this same person that I grew up with that was messy when we were growing up? And he's so organized as a person. Now, would you say the person, it's still him? Would you say he's now become a fake person? Would you now prefer the old person being true to himself or the new person that he's evolved to be better, even though the trait seems to be fairly opposite from what they were when they were growing up? And that's the point I'm trying to make, the illusion of true self, right? What really is your true self? Again, the point is, I believe that as human beings, we have to evolve, we have to grow. A human being that doesn't grow and that doesn't evolve, that doesn't get matured, you probably think the person is dead emotionally, psychologically, perhaps mentally dead, right? If you meet your friend that you knew in your teenage and after 20 years, the person is still behaving the same way, how would you feel? Would you feel that you want to hang out with a person? Do you feel the person has evolved? You probably think that this person stopped growing. And again, hasn't the person stayed true to him or herself? So now, do you really want to stay true to yourself? I hope you get the point that I'm trying to make. And the second point is, don't forget that the you that we are talking about always fit in a social context and content, if that makes sense. We as human beings, even though we are independent and we have our own will, almost everything we do fit in a social context. So if you naturally are a loud person, love playing loud music, love doing everything loud, it becomes difficult for people to live close to you or perhaps to even share an apartment with you. Just because your natural tendency is to be loud, it becomes difficult for you to now fit in the same room with people, right? So sometimes your true self, in quotes, can perhaps also be holding you back. Typical example, I know someone who never liked wearing shirts. It's a female. The moment she gets home, she wants to take her shirt off and just be free. She almost always wants to be free from clothes. And that's been the person's true self for as long as I can remember. And even those who know her from when she was growing back used to say she always wanted to get out of her clothes. That's her true self. Now, how would you feel if you are in a corporate office or in the army or in a place where a certain attire is expected and, it's not forced, but is expected. And this person chooses to come in a bikini because that is the nearest to naked that the person can be in, right? Again, that's the person's true self. He really doesn't like to be in attire, in clothes. Point I'm trying to make is, you as a person, you as an entity, you live and interact in a social context. We are human beings. We live in social context, whether you like it or not, unless you are living on an island or in the forest alone, where for the next 5 kilometers or 5 miles, there's no one around you. You have to accept and unfortunately live within the confines of social norm. Bear in mind, sometimes your true selves are just bad behaviors that went unchecked and you've gotten used to them. They are not really you. They are just behaviors that they allowed you to grow with that never went checked. And you think that's you. You'll be surprised that if you allow yourself to evolve, to be a better version of yourself, what you'll be capable of and how much growth and maturity that would come your way. Again, what really is you? Who really are you? We are talking about the context, be you, yourself, always. And as much as you want, most of the time, the you is just a very small, identical notion that you have that should evolve as you grow. Evolution and growth is really the core essence of us human beings, right? At the end of the day, someone who knows you from childhood till now, probably whichever age you are, the person can know that even though you've evolved, you've grown, you've matured to be a better person, there's still elements that's reminiscent of you, the person that you were. It's not like you've totally thrown or you ignore your history or your culture, but you've evolved, you've gotten to let go of things that were not so beneficial to your character or who your better self could be. That's what I'm talking about. And so when you're dating someone and you say, oh, this is the way I am, take me the way I am now, or I'm not changing for you. Really? If you know someone who doesn't like taking a shower after they go to the gym, or they go and play sports or whatever, because that's the way they've been all their life and they don't like to shower, would you want that person to change for you or not? And it's really not that much. Taking a shower it won't kill you. It might be uncomfortable, in quotes, uncomfortable at the very beginning, but it won't kill you, right? Unless, of course, there's evidence that if you shower, you will die. That's a different ballgame altogether. There are some people who don't use deodorant for whatever reason. That's okay. But if you don't use deodorant, please don't stink. Because again, you would come to the midst of people, you would interact with people. We cannot enforce things on people. All I'm trying to say is that the you that you are fits in a social context. So for the deodorant example, and I'm saying this because I know people like that, right? But this person that I know that didn't use deodorant never stink. I even asked him how he does it. He said he just takes a shower every day and he doesn't stink. So long as it works for you and it doesn't disrupt the peace of the society that you are in, that doesn't cause you harm. Why would you want to make it difficult being around you? If you're not careful, it will be difficult for people to fraternize with you, to be friends with you, and to want to know you. Do you get the point I'm trying to make? Again, I'm not saying that throw yourself away and be fake or changed completely. I myself have tried as much as possible to be true to myself always. Let me give you an example. My parents growing up, my mom never liked me having a beard and a mustache and a lot of hair. I don't know. She just always loved clean-shaven men, right? And so growing up, I had to be clean-shaven for her. But when I grew up and I was a man of my own and living in my own space, I just let my hair grow. As you can see if you're watching the video, I always have a bit of hair on my head and I keep my facial hair. But the difference is, even though I'm keeping it, I also try to keep it a bit tidy, a bit clean, right? I may not be clean shaven as I'm recording this, but it's not overly grown that you might wonder, am I okay? Do you get a point? I'm still true to myself, but if it's the social context that I'm in, I still keep it tidy, keep it trim. The way I dress, right? My father always loved us wearing suits back in Ghana, West Africa, always wearing a 3-piece suit complete. But it was warm back then. It was humid. The temperature, it never made sense to me. So the moment I could break free from that, I never wore a suit again. Even till the point of my wedding day, I didn't wear a suit. Back home, I wouldn't do it, no matter what you tell me. And so what happened is in order to please him and still be me, because I still respect my father, I ended up always wearing a vest. You know that the vest that comes with a 3-piece suit, I always end up wearing a vest. And so most of the time you see me with a long sleeve and a vest on. And over time, it's become like my signature piece, right? If I buy a suit, I barely wear the coat unless I have to. I really want to put everything on. But the vest, it's likely you'll see me in. So I'm just trying to keep true to myself. Another thing, I've always loved a certain amount of piercing and a basic amount of jewelry on people. I've always wanted to pierce since I was a child. But it's a no-no for those of you from the African background or West African background, Ghanaian to both sides. You would understand what I mean. It was a no-go, especially for my parents being the church leaders that they were. You couldn't do that. But at the end of the day, I am still me. When I grew up and I code, I still became me. I still did what I wanted to do. But guess what? If I am still going to meet my father, I take them off. Just out of respect, right? So the point I'm trying to say is I'm still me. I've always tried to be true to myself, to my identity, to my values. But I'm also aware that I'm in a social context. And so the me goes to the point where it doesn't step on people's rights too much. Once your freedom and your genuineness is stepping on people's rights and people's freedom, then you have to be careful. Sometimes you might have to tone down a bit just to, fit in. So, example, when I was getting married, I had my ears pierced. But out of respect for culture and society that I was in, I took them off. Just not not to do anything, just out of respect, right? When I went back, I saw all my thing and I went on my way. When I'm meeting my father, they've never, unless it's a video call or something, they will barely ever see me wearing earrings, right? Until they eventually get comfortable with it. The point I'm trying to say is, what really is the true you that you won't change for anyone? Is it bad behaviors that have been unchecked for so long? Or are they good values that make you unique and perhaps even make you who you are to add value to this world? That is something you have to answer. If there are bad behaviors that has been unchecked, I think that you can do better. You should listen when people give you some feedback and tell you something. Just listen. Is this feedback going to make me a better person? If not, then don't just listen and don't take it. But if perhaps it can make you better and still be true to yourself, what are you going to lose when you listen to it? And so I guess what I'm trying to say is that notion of be yourself, always stay true to yourself, stick to whatever you are. If you won't take me for who I am, then I'm not going to take you. That's okay if we are talking about your core values as a human being. Like if you subscribe to a certain religion, a certain belief, and that is your belief, that is okay. Those ones, I don't advise you change them for anyone. But if it's certain behaviors, like the way you dress, if it has no religious backing, right? Perhaps you dress too flimsy, too sexual as a person. Perhaps you don't know how to dress to fit the settings or the event or the occasion, then that is something that you can improve. Perhaps you are too messy as a person. And so when someone is trying to tell you that the way you are makes them uncomfortable or it makes their life more difficult and you care about the person, the least you can do is just try to adjust a tiny weeny bit. But hey, I'm trying to be true to myself by even recording this podcast. So be careful. Don't always take advice from everyone, including myself. I've said this in a podcast before. You have to bear in mind, I know nothing. I'm just a naive observer. Peace.